Welcome, guys, to the Start Canada call for February the 5th, 2017. Apparently, it's Super Bowl Sunday. I didn't even know that. So a lot of you are probably busy and tuning into the recording. I just want to say thank you so much for that. I hope you guys are all having fun with your friends and your family and your Super Bowl parties. I'm like literally the least sportsy person ever. I didn't even know Super Bowl Sunday until like half an hour ago. I try really hard. So I just want to pour out gratitude for each and every one of you that you're all here to grow yourselves, to grow your team. I just think that is so awesome. I just want to pour out gratitude and thankfulness for all of you guys that are here tonight. I'm super excited for tonight's call. If you guys don't know what this is, maybe this is your first time tuning in, you found the recording on YouTube. These calls have just been created with a purpose to grow Start Canadians. And that may be gibberish to you, but we are just a group of really fired up young people that are here to, sorry, my computer's falling. To ignite our young people to own their lives physically and financially, and through our contributions create freedom and a lasting legacy. I don't know about you guys, but that vision just gets me so fired up and so excited. We have a Start Canada committee created where we have representatives from all territories and provinces where we all get together and work on the vision that we have for Canada. So I know that a lot of you on this call are on that committee. Maybe some of you are interested in speaking on future calls, getting involved in the committee and getting involved in this movement. I would absolutely love if you guys reached out to Tina or I to get involved. We are onto some really exciting things, especially with law coming up here. So as Tina was explaining as we were starting off the call, we do have a bit of a disclaimer. We are just a really awesome health and wellness company. We don't diagnose, treat, prevent, cure any diseases or illnesses. We just put really good food in our body and we feel really great as a result. You may also hear some financial claims tonight. Please know that no two businesses are the same. Everyone is individual and nothing is promised. So with that, we are going to move into the first section of our call. You guys may be new here. This is called the Starter in the Spotlight section. So we like to broadcast stories from people from all over Canada. Maybe they've been in the company for a while or a short amount of time, because we know that we are just storytellers. And the more stories that we have in our back pocket, the more that we can share this gift with so many other people. So I'm so excited to introduce this week's Starter in the Spotlight. His name is Mike. He is from Thunder Bay. Mike, are you here?
I am, yeah.
Cool. So let us know your story.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Morgan. I appreciate it. But first, I just want to give a shout out to you and the committee, because you guys, being consistent with these start calls every week, it's really inspiring to see what you guys are doing. And I couldn't be more grateful to be able to speak alongside yourself and Shannon tonight. But before I jump into my story, I just want to share something with you guys, because I had a little bit of a tough week, and a friend of mine wrote this, and it really hit me hard. So I'm just going to share this quick. Okay, so the challenge is the best part. Every challenge is the universe's way of letting you know that you're on the right track. The universe is a teacher, and as we learn in school, to reach the next level, you must pass the test. You must prove that when you're faced with rain, you can still shine bright. Level of your relationship with the universe. Eventually, after successfully enduring these challenges, the universe begins to hand you nothing but good fortune. Have you ever heard the saying, it's always darkest before dawn? This is true, although there's more to it than that. You will be challenged, but once your sun comes up, it doesn't ever have to go back down. Those bad days are actually propelling you towards a series of never-ending good ones. That is, if you deal with them correctly. Prove to the universe that you can stand up to any unfortunate event and be thankful when the unexpected happens, because now you have the chance to exercise your ability to shine. And I'd like to, this is huge for me, because I've spoken on calls before, but the fact that it's alongside with you guys, it's amazing. It's such an awesome opportunity. So thank you guys so much. But anyway, so it's okay with you. I just want to share my story. Hopefully can resonate a little bit with some of you guys. So before Isagenix, I was going through a really crucial turning point in my life. I guess you can call it an awakening. I just dropped out of college to pursue a couple different business ideas that I had. And, beneath all the promise that school had to offer, I had this deep, unsettling feeling to do more with my life. And, I've always been passionate about helping people and trying to find ways for people to live a more happy, fulfilling lifestyle. And from a very young age, coming out of college, I spent years investing in myself and trying to build this new way for people to come together and educate and inspire each other. And the bigger it started to grow, the more my vision started to change, and the more I realized that I wasn't able to do it on my own. So then one day, one of my best friends, Kelly, gives me a call out of the blue, and he says, Mike, have you ever heard this Isagenix thing? He was so freaking enthused about it, because he knew what I was going through. He knew what I stood for, and I trusted him. So when the opportunity arose, he gave me a call. He told me, come sit down with my friend's uncle and just be open-minded. So of course I said yeah, and I went down to the college, and I was actually introduced to Isagenix by Jack Murphy. If you guys don't know him, he lives here in Thunder Bay. So back in August 2013, I got introduced, and if any of you guys know Jack, like when he starts to get fired up about something, he gets really, really excited. So I remember sitting down, and for almost 2 hours, he just kept on talking and talking, and the passion, the conviction that he had in his voice when he was telling me about how he finally found a way to actually help people and his clients, and he pulled into such a strong vision that, like, I'll never forget that day. And I remember him mentioning all these different names: Susan Sly, Peter Kelly, Audrey Moss, and something called the Start Group, which at the time had, I think it was less than 5,000 people in it. So it was pretty new. And I remember going home that night, I watched all the videos on Start Your Life, ISA movie, and I saw all these people my age, having all these incredible transformations and living a life of financial, physical freedom. And, the products looked awesome. Obviously the results were obvious. And I wanted it. So I dove head first, and, I kid you not, when I first got started, a couple names came to mind, and my best friend Corey and my brother Nick. As soon as I went home that day, I remember getting them on the phone. We talked about it all. I sent them the videos. We were all excited. We sat down the next day, and we were 100% all in. There was no going back from that day forward. And I remember, I actually haven't shared this with anybody, and it's probably one of the most important things I need to remember. But within the first 24 hours of me getting started, I went crystal manager, and I helped Corey and my brother both become a consultant, and they got half their products paid for. I had my first and second month's products completely covered right off the bat, and that was before my products even hit my doorstep. So that was a huge eye opener for me. And I knew that, like, from that moment forward, that just having the potential of being able to have groceries paid for at the very least is huge for some people. So fast forward, I've been on the products for just over 3.5 years now, and honestly, like, it's been the best decision of my life. I can't even begin to describe what it's done for me, but the biggest thing is my mental game, and how it's just put me on this path of personal development. And I wake up every day and I want to be the best version of myself that I can be, and be proud of that. And I never ever had that mindset growing up. And, like, my entire life, I've always been feared of being put in the spotlight, yet here I am. So it's huge for me. But that leads me into belief. I just want to say that, over the past 3 years, the biggest thing for me has been getting to these events, being on these calls, because it keeps your fire burning. And it's the culture that brings us together, and it's the reason that I'm never going to quit. Honestly, there's something about being in a room of all these people that are on the same wavelength as you, like here on this call or at Celebration. It's unbelievable when you see all these people who believe in the same vision, and they're all working towards the same individual goals, but we're all cheering each other on and being a lighthouse of support for each other. It's just crazy. And if you guys have never been to an event before, seriously, get down to Red and White in Toronto. It's going to change your life. But before I hand it back to you, Morgan, I just want to do one little exercise. All you guys, okay? Put your right hand in your air. Or put your right hand in the air, and hold up your index finger. Okay? We go up and down, side to side. It's pretty easy. Okay, now look at the same finger and give it permission to move completely on its own. And nothing happens. All right? That's because nobody's in control of your finger but you. And the same goes for your feelings. Same goes for everything that involves you, your body, your emotions, your manifestations. And as long as you can understand that you are the only person that's responsible for that, then you can use that to your advantage, and the sky's the limit. So I don't know, I don't know how to end it off, but seriously, you guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Mike. That was so awesome. There's a few people asking if you could possibly post that blurb in the Start Canada Facebook group. Are you able to do that?
Which the beginning one that I started with?
Yeah, your inspirational little piece.
Yeah, it's actually one of my favorite artists. His name, I'll post it right now, but it's Modsun, Modsun.
Cool.
Movement on dreams, stand under none. He's a
Wicked. If you post it in the Start Canada Facebook group, then everyone can find it really easy. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for your fun exercise, Mike. That was honestly so awesome. You're such a good speaker. Okay, guys, so moving forward now into the training piece of the call. I'm going to invite you guys, I see some of you have done this already, but invite you to use the chat, ask questions, leave comments, show some love. It's a really awesome tool for us all to use here, tuning in live. So tonight's training is all on events, which is so major. I know a lot of us are jacked up about Raw that's happening this month, the Start Canada party that's happening, the shirts we have going on. Start Canada is going to be there and representing, and I know I am so excited. The committee is so excited. And we have a really awesome trainer here tonight to talk about events and why they're important and why getting your team there is so important. So lots of you guys probably already know this wonderful lady. She's from Cabot, Ontario. She is a Start grad, so she's 37 years. And since starting Isagenix in December of 2005, she has ranked to 8-star platinum Isagenix Millionaire. At age 26, Shannon found this opportunity as she was an exhausted massage therapist with a dream to have an abundant life and have children with her hubby. Shannon, I would love if you could start off just by telling us a bit about your story. I personally love when you guys tell it over when I tell it.
Oh, well, thank you, Morgan. And good evening, everyone. It's so good to see everyone. So good to see everyone. And for those of you watching the Super Bowl, yeah, have fun. It's interesting. Of course, I'm like, all I want to know is the halftime show. That's all I really care about is the halftime show. But again, it's all being recorded, so it's perfect. So first of all, I just want to, of course, acknowledge you, Morgan and Tina, for just putting this call together and the entire committee. You know, it takes consistency and persistence and patience and all those things to really make this business really what it can be. And to Mike, oh my gosh, dude, that was awesome. I absolutely love your story. And I remember when you guys first came in and just the fire, that conviction, that belief, that unknowingness, but that level of certainty with a little bit of like just complete grit and spunk. It's been awesome to watch you guys grow. So it was really, I'm honored to follow you today. You were definitely a master trainer. So I'm looking forward to hearing you train a lot more often because man, dude, you've got the skills. It's great. So yeah, I could go on and on with so much that has happened in our journey with Isagenix, but you know, really here to serve all of you. And when Morgan asked, you know, if I would help on this call tonight, was great because it's, you know, the Start Canada. And when I started Isagenix, there was no Start at all. It never existed. And neither did double PIBs, those double product introductory bonuses, or the rank advancement bonuses, or, you know, maybe 50 other products that we now have in Isagenix. So when I got started, it was really a very simple system. They had just launched into the 30-day program, and it was small. It was 2005, Christmas. And Mike, you said something really powerful today, and it brought me back, and it's something that I don't share very often, is that we went consultant within our first 24 hours. So again, not even knowing what we were doing. You know, our story really started because my massage clients kept coming in and I said no for 5 weeks. And so if you're new and if you're just even taking a look tonight or you're just getting started and you're unsure, I get it. It happens. I said no for 5 weeks because I thought I knew everything. I had had a really brief stint in network marketing in my early 20s, and it really put a real sour taste in my mouth. And so I was really skeptical, and not even knowing, I created a laundry list of all the things of why not to do network marketing. But deep down inside, I had this big, massive vision of what if I could really find something that would help leverage my time and would be in an industry that I'm passionate about. And at the same point, maybe someday I could have friends that lived in other parts of the country. Like, I thought that would be pretty cool. But I of course had no clue how. I would spend hours in the clinic, you know, very quiet because people want to relax, thinking all these thoughts. How could I do that? What would that look like? And, you know, what was so magical is when we finally said yes, and our products then arrived. So we actually went consultant. We advanced to the first level of leadership right away. I had no clue of really what was going on. Chris got started, and so did my business partner, Kathy. And, you know, we had received an email from Isagenix saying, congratulations, you know, you've earned this commission because you help people get started, and here's your rebate. And I was like, what? How did I just earn a rebate? I don't even have my products yet. At that point, they hadn't even arrived at our house yet. And so it sparked some more curiosity in me. And I thought, okay, what is this company? And then I got started on the products. And then I was like, okay, what really is this company? And then I went to my first event, and they kept saying, Shannon, go, 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 go. And of course, I created a laundry list of reasons why I couldn't go again. And then I finally thought, you know what, at some point I need to start getting out of my own way, because clearly there's things that are changing, and clearly there's things that are kind of nudging me and reminding me of all the things that I'm asking for and that I'm looking for in my life that I'm not getting at this moment. Maybe I should just go. And so Chris and I got in the car, and we followed our enrolling sponsors to Toronto. And that event forever changed my life. I went to an experienced Isagenix presentation, or an opportunity meeting. And really at that time it was done. There was no flashy PowerPoint. Susan Sly was the speaker, and she had just been in Isagenix for 2 years at that time. And that woman, if you know her, she can cast a vision. And she was just so passionate, and she had a little babe on her hip. And Chris, you know, talked about, you know, just his passion and what he really saw as a very legitimate, you know, a Bay Street accountant, that this was a legitimate business, and how they were really going to go for it. And then another gentleman spoke, and he really talked about the company. And in that moment, it was that gut instinct that just said, this is it. This is exactly what you've been looking for. And so in that moment, I turned to Chris, and I talk about being completely confusing. I was like, we're not doing the products. We're definitely never doing this business, to, okay, we're going to try the products. And then I looked at him, and I'm like, I'm doing this business. And he was like, what? What's going on now? And we weren't even married yet. So it could have gone either way. He decided to keep us connected. And I literally just dove in with 2 feet, and I started to go to events because I wanted to learn. And I realized as a massage therapist that I had gone through school to learn, to become really great at my craft, to only leave school and really kind of bump along the road trying to figure out, how do I now build a business? And what I identified with was that learning to be a really great massage therapist and a therapist is one thing, but being a very savvy entrepreneur is something else. And so through my years of massage, I had learned a lot of skills, and one of them being, you know, asking for referrals, because I didn't do marketing. I didn't, you know, do flashy signs. I didn't have the money. That was the thing. I had no, like, as a therapist, I had no extra cash for marketing. So I was actually already doing what this industry does. And so I realized that really, really quick. And I said to Chris, I'm like, you know, he's like, I don't know. I don't, should we do this? And I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this. And you just need to trust me. Trust me that I'll figure it out. And so I went to work, and I worked in between clients. I remember coming home at night. Some nights I was so excited. I would literally like drop my briefcase, and he'd pass me the phone, and I'd go into our office, which was my bedroom. There was no office, right? There was a bedroom, and I had papers all over the bed. And I remember the first time he said, come on to one of these calls. Now, back in the day, it wasn't a Zoom call. It was like a regular landline, not even a cell phone, right? Like you had to pick up like the big landline that was attached to the wall. And I had to call in. Actually, I think I had to record this phone. And Carol Taylor, who is like the number 2 income earner in Canada, they still host a Wednesday night call. And I remember like my heart, I was like, it could burst in my chest. I could have eaten it again, and it got back. And it was just, and all I needed to do was say my name. It was like, and then I could go back on mute, and it was this, right? And it was that moment where I just took that next step, and I was so scared. And I remember Chris was like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, I'm going to go on this call, and what if I get called out? I don't know anything. What if they ask me? So I had all these preconceived ideas. And again, that kind of shifted. So the Susan Sly event, which was just like, bring your guests and come learn. I got that vision. And I realized at that event, when I was, face to face with people who I knew were going to go somewhere, I wasn't going to miss out. And I really wanted to be a part of that. And I could see culture, and I could see values, and I could see a real product that was going to change people's lives. I could see that people were having physical, emotional responses. And then I realized, I'm like, this is a daily consumable product. What I'd been in before was not a daily consumable product. And that's why I didn't like it, because I was like, I'm not passionate about this. And for me, I'm going to do work. I'm going to do work no matter what I do in this world. I'm going to work, because that's just who I am. I'm not going to sit back. I'll be the girl that'll be in my 80s or 90s figuring out something to do. And I'm going to work. So I'm going to spend my time anyways, but I'm going to spend my time with the values and the vision that I believe in. And so it just kept going. Like, it was like, check that laundry list of like, no, I'm not, was like, boom, 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 boom. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. And so and then the call happened, and then it was more proof and validation. And it just started to happen. And I kept going to Toronto, and then people started to come to Peterborough, and they're like, we'll help you. And I was like, what do you mean you're going to help me? They're like, well, you're part of our team. We're going to help you. And I was like, I'm a massage therapist. I'm a self-employed entrepreneur, and there's competition, and there's no teamwork. Like, you couldn't ask someone, hey, I see that your clinic's booming. Do you mind giving me some tips? Like, they would never be like, oh yeah, here's my marketing strategy. Like, they didn't do that. And so it took me a little bit to just really realize what this profession was about. And I said, sure. I kept saying, yeah, if you're going to come and you're going to help me, yeah, of course I'm going to say yes. And so they would come, and I learned skills, and I was awful in the beginning. And I just kept working on it. And, as we continued to go, not many people came to the first few events. But I went, and Chris would come every once in a while. And then I would come back and I would train that information, because what I found was that if I went and then just kept it for myself, well, then no one really benefited. But I found if I went and then I learned and then I was teaching it, well, then I was really ingraining my own learning, because now I had to teach someone else. And I really, truly feel that was a huge catalyst for our growth and development, was that I wasn't just absorbing the information. I immediately took action and just jumped right in and was like, okay, I got to figure out who I'm going to teach it to. And I would find anybody. Our team was growing a little bit. And so I would like, okay, let's get together. And they would come into our living room, and we'd go to our enrolling school. We'd do dinner nights. We would do dinner parties, and we would just sit around and talk about whatever. And, son would cook these amazing meals, and we would just eat and talk business and ideas and vision and values. And it was incredible. And then from there, we went to our first celebration, and it was in Vegas, as it is this year. And so I'm going to tell you now, get your tickets to, it's like the prelim to red and white, but celebration is in August. And that celebration, our first celebration, we had about 250 people in our team. Recycling, and we were probably between 4 and 5 cycles per week, which is great. And I was like, oh, it's not going fast enough. But I heard some other people, and they were like, oh, I'm here. And I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe I'm not doing too bad. So we went, and that event kind of had sealed the deal, because just prior to the celebration, I had gone to an event, an outside event called The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. And there was a gentleman that ran that event, and his name is David T.S. Wood. And he ran that event, not a part of Isagenix. And I really, fell in love with his style. I really connected well with him. And I wrote it on a piece of paper, and I said, I look forward to the day that we get to meet. And Chris goes, you're crazy. And I was like, yeah, whatever. I'm just going to write it. And so I wrote it, and I turned it in. And 8 months later, I was having dinner with David. And I was like, this again, validation and proof that I was in the right place at the right time. And so it just continued. It's been like this the entire 11 years. Like, it just, there's been moments where it's been hard. There's been moments where, some people have left. And there's been moments, but through those moments where somebody has maybe gone and done something different, then somebody else has come in, and they've just been, that bright light, and they get the values, and they get our vision, and they continue to take us to the next level, and we help them and we train them. But it's the events that have really not only grown my belief, but they've grown my skills. They've grown our team, because you can go to an event And you can have a whole lineup of people training your people, teaching them from their experience of how to do this effectively. And, think of those professors that were like, sometimes I think of school and they have the concept of what they think works. This is like real life people they don't just have the concept, they've actually done the do. They know what to do. They can help you through those, landmines. They're going to tell you the exact skills that you need in order to be effective. And what it comes down to, Mike, and you nailed it, it's this. It comes down to this. Are you going to move your finger? Are you actually going to do something? Because if you just do this and think, I'm going to tell my finger, have somebody superimpose that, it's not going to happen. You have to move. You have to do something different. And I'm so grateful that we have and we continue to move forward because, we have now 3 kids. I don't even know, how much we are in accrued earnings. It's obscene. Even what happens every week is obscene. And but it's not even about that. It's the fact that the people that have come along the way. And what I absolutely love about this industry, I think it's the fairest business model, is when you help other people become successful and you really reach down to them and you help them reach their goals. And in turn, you will always reach yours. They may not happen as fast as you want them to, but you will. It's that constant giving. You will receive that support. You will get that back tenfold, bigger than you've ever imagined. But there is sometimes it will require patience. It will require grit. It will require going to the end. It's picking up the phone when you don't want to. It's having that phone call or that tea with someone when you're tired. It's just moving that extra little bit, having that little bit more, because doing something today that others won't will truly give you the life that other people dream for. It really, really does. And it gives you options and choice and flexibility, and whatever freedom looks like for you, it can give that to you, but you are going to have to move. So it's just that ability. So that's coming up is Red and White. And I know many of you are excited for that event. I want to tell you, we grinded it out. Last year I sat on the Canadian Field Advisory Board, and it was an amazing honor. And we really felt that there was an opportunity in Canada. And, our market has gone through some great changes in the last year. We're now on Canadian dollars. We've got Canadian videos. We've got new Canadian leadership. We have a Canadian head office. We have Canadian sales corporate staff. Why not finally have a Canadian event? And so this event, if you haven't gone to an event, I can only encourage that you do. And this is a thing, guys, it is in Toronto. Anybody in Ontario should, at least make the biggest effort on the planet to come. If you're even in the GTA radius, bring people. This is great for guests. This is great for people who are just taking a look. This is great for people who are just solid in our products, but unsure. This is for people who are like, I'm really excited and I want the skills, and Shannon and Pam, and teach me how to build this business. This is your event. This is our event. And it's really, my intention is that we really show Isagenix what Canada is really about. And if you attended any of the Red and Whites last year, that was associate driven. That was a bunch of us leaders that said we wanted an event. And they came together and it was incredible. This event is going to have that extra flair. You're going to get David at that. If you're a manager or higher, you go Crystal Manager, hit the reset. You get to come into the leadership meeting on Thursday, from 2 till 6, you get David Wood. He's one of the top trainers in the world. You get David. And then Friday is full day training. You can do your team parties on Friday night. On Saturday, of course, it's a full day training, and then we close Saturday night, and then we have the Canadian party. Oh, our friends are just leaving. Just one sec. Bye, guys. They brought dinner. Haha. And so that's the Saturday. And the Canadian party, we just get to do Canada strong. And I think this year with, the 150th celebration of Canada, we're just, it's our time. There's so many trends, not just in network marketing, but just across the world, that says it's time for us to stand up. It's time for us to really show what we can do. We have an amazing culture. We look out for one another. We help each other. We are united, right? And so as we even expand into Europe and so forth, this is our year. And I truly believe that so much momentum can happen within the START group. It's that opportunity. It's that place where people start seeing things differently. And I know that if you come, you will really get what you're looking for. And the best thing is that the event happens. It's the after stuff. It's the hanging out in the leadership lounge. It's talking with people, you know, as they're in the elevator, just asking questions. And so if you're going to come and if you see any of the trainers, anybody, and they look somewhat familiar, ask them, say, hey, what would you tell me? What would you tell me if I was brand new? What would you tell me right now? What's the one most important thing that I need to learn right now? And ask. But I'm going to say this, go in with some intention. Go in with an idea of what you want to get out of it, because then it will be, you'll see it, you'll seek it, and you will find it, and it will happen. So I just, you know, there's still tickets available. I'm still driving people to this event. I'm getting new people to come and take a look. The science is going to blow your mind. Dr. Paul Arciano is going to release studies, guys. Like there's, you know, Isagenix is not on trial. Right? We have so much clinical evidence. You don't have to like, what if there's something in this? We have the studies. We have the facts. We have the evidence. We have the success. We have there's just, we're the real deal. And it's just up to you. And I look forward to seeing you. If you see me, please grab me. Tell me your story. I would love to hear from you. And I hope this was helpful, Morgan. I really do.
It totally was. Thank you so much, Shannon. Let's give her a round of applause, guys. I know I am so excited for Raw. And as she said, you know, I have people coming that have never put Isagenix in their mouth yet, but the event is going to be just so amazing. You want to get everyone you can there. And as she said, you know, setting your intention, that's so huge as we get closer to the event. You know, what do you want to grow or change or shift when you walk out of that door at the end of that Saturday, right? That's so major. Shannon, thank you so much for sharing your stories and your wisdom. I just absolutely love hearing you speak. So with that, guys, we are going to wrap up the call for this week. If you want to replay this call, if you have some friends that maybe couldn't make it, everything is recorded and put onto the Start Canada YouTube page. Make sure that you guys like us on Facebook. Everything for a shirt pickup for the Start Canada party, together for a big Start Canada picture, is all going to be announced in that Start Canada Facebook page. You want to make sure you're plugged in, your team is plugged in as well. And with that, if you guys can take yourselves off of your black screens, we are going to get a screenshot before we wrap up here. So Kelly, Bree, Candace, Gagan, and Tina will grab a quick screenshot. There are your pretty faces. Hi, Alexia. Okay, Tina, you ready?
Yeah, hold on one sec. I was like talking to myself. Okay, you guys.
Sorry, I've been breaking
out. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Morgs, I threw in the chat if anyone had any quick comments or questions, because we're okay for time if Shannon has a few minutes.
Yeah, Shannon, I would actually love to ask you, you said, you know, if you run into any leaders at the event, if you'd ask them, you know, what's that one thing? What's one piece of advice you'd give to any young starters setting off to build a business? I think you're on mute.
I think sometimes when we just are full of piss and vinegar, it's just that patience. Sometimes it's just patience. Just have patience. Continue. Don't stop, but just have. I would always. PK Smith said, "Have patience," and I said, "I'm being impatient." He said, "Just don't be impatient with others. Be impatient with yourself in the sense of having that drive, but be patient with others." That's what I would say. Have that drive, but don't allow that. Just be patient with others. They will see. Just keep going.
I love that. Does anyone else want to jump out and ask Shannon any questions or have any comments?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So Shannon, you mentioned, now I can see you. Okay. You mentioned that you would go to events and like, maybe if your team wasn't there, then come back and share that wisdom, and you would like have them in your living room and train them. And I know like, I obviously am not an expert. I'm 18, but I've been going to events with my mom. So I feel like I have all this wisdom to share that I've taken from events, but then again, you don't want to be like not duplicatable and be like teaching everyone, and then they feel like they have to teach it all. And I'm in a Facebook group chat with like some people that are really running with me right now. So I'm just wondering how you went about that at the beginning when you had your first few people that wanted to do this with you. Like if you felt like you were overwhelming them or that they were going to feel like it wasn't duplicatable, like if you have a system for that at all, if that makes sense.
Yeah, great question. So, the thing is that if you want to practice, you're going to have to talk to someone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if you have some friends that are like, hey, I'm running to run, and say, great, I'm going to do this little training and put something together. I would say, as long as you're using the tools, guys, just use those standard tools, use the templates, use your compensation template, use, the Crystal Executive template, use the 30-second story template, use those templates, because that's your consistency. Those are what I call hard skills, right? And so that's our operations manual, right? If you were to go and say, okay, how do I run a business in Isagenix? Well, someone would give you a manual and say, okay, right now for us, it's isagenixbusiness.com. That is your manual. But outside of that is your soft skills. And your soft skills are, how do I connect with others? How do I build relationships? How do I communicate effectively? Well, there's really no template for that. There's lots of information out there. There's lots of training on it, but it's not necessarily something that's built on a template. It's based on, understanding your personality, getting comfortable with your own words, and practicing. And so I just really think that I would really want to empower you, Charlotte, to just do it and let them know, say, what, I don't have all the answers, but what I do have is wisdom, and what I do have is education. And what I want to do is become a better educator. And so we can work on this together. So I'm going to start. And if they want to, then you could give them a piece and say, hey, listen, you think you know that, then you try. Right. And so it's just that back and forth, and you can do role plays and just honestly have fun with it. And that sometimes gives people the courage to say, okay, now I want to go to an event, and they'll go with you. Sometimes you also need to put people in your vehicles, right? Like you need to trap them in a loving way to get them to go. But once they go, I have had friends that were like, yeah, maybe I'll go to San Diego because that's seems like a really cool place to go for celebration. But I'm not, they're not saying it to me, but they're like, I wasn't really going to go to the event. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And of course, then they go to the event and then they never leave the event, right? Because they're like, whoa, it was nothing like I had imagined. And so I'm telling people hey, just come with me to Toronto. It's a weekend. We even have a chance to hang out.
And they are coming now, so we're bringing them in our car and getting a hotel room. And my first event was San Diego, and I was like, Mom, I'm just going to shop the whole time and tan. And then I ended up at the event the whole time after hearing Anna Richards speak. That's actually really helpful, because I guess I thought of it as, oh, they're going to think they can't be like me. I have all these answers, but it's only because I've been to events and it's because I've listened to podcasts. So then I guess that'll inspire them that they need to get to those events and listen to those podcasts if they want to get on that level. So it's not like I started out like this.
So Charlotte, I want to ask you, what is your goal? Where do you see yourself in the next 90 days?
I'm working on a few different goals, but I set a goal last celebration to start 1,000 at this celebration, which is obviously an insanely huge goal, but it's still in the back of my mind. And then my goal before Red and White is Crystal Executive, and I would be the youngest executive, and then I'm going to headquarters a month later. So it would be really exciting to make that happen before then.
Awesome. I think you can do it as long as you're going to be willing to do the work. In order to get there, you're going to have to start talking to people, and thinking that you're just going to be like, well, I'm just going to wait and not do it. You have knowledge. You have to train. This is what this business is about. So I encourage you to go, fail forward, make a mess of it. Who cares? Right? It doesn't really matter, because as long as your intent is for them to have a better understanding of that skill or concept, or teaching them where to look, or having that ability, you are going to get there. But you won't get there if you don't start doing what you totally can do. And you can do this.
Thank you.
So just run with it, and be okay with being flashy and amazing. Stop shrinking and being like, oh, what if I'm so great? Be great. Freaking the world needs people to be more great. Stop shrinking, woman.
Thank you so much.
You got this.
I love that, Shannon. Thank you so much, Charlotte. Does anyone else have any questions or comments they want to add? Okay, so with that, guys, we will wrap up this week's call. Thank you, everyone that was here live. And I'm so excited. Next week, we have Mike Delaire lined up as a trainer. I want to send so much love out to Shannon and Mike, who did such a fabulous job here tonight. We all have so many takeaways. The big one is getting to Raw, getting your tickets, and getting all that lined up. So with that, guys, I hope you have a great week, and I will see you guys next Sunday.